Hello there, guys and gals. Welcome back to World of Warship Legends. I am Durka, and today I wanted to showcase Bismarck following its latest buff. That's right, another one. This one was focused on Bismarck's main battery accuracy, and shell grouping was buffed by 5%. This is the equivalent of having added a max level Andrew Cunningham to your build, so it's pretty significant. Shell grouping is how close your shells are going to land together basically, and sometimes it's referred to as Sigma on the PC version of the game. So to test the old guy out, I better say that so the comment section doesn't look like the Siegfried line in 45. Again, I took her out for about 10 games, and here's what I found. First of all, I do not play a full secondary build, and for this occasion especially, I really wanted to focus on the main battery accuracy to see what these guns could do at range. This definitely wasn't the highest damage game, but it does showcase how well we could hit the targets downrange. So the setup is pay to win Scharnhorst with Charles in charge and a 16-2 Andrew. I did opt for Brawler and enjoy a 20-second flat reload while still reaching out to 16.1 kilometers. Not fantastic, but it's Bismarck, and the ship's armor is actually better up close, so sniping isn't recommended. Without any secondary focused modules and only Porcupine, the secondaries still reach 8.8 kilometers. If I wasn't testing the main battery accuracy, I probably would have kept the secondary battery mod 2 in slot 1, but kept main battery mod in slot 3 because the fast reload is pretty saucy. So here, that Shimakaze, he's 12 kilometers downrange, and we just hit him with 5 shells, I believe, out of 8. Not bad at this kind of range, and Bismarck, when it was launched, if you guys ever if you played back then, you would know this ship has come a long way. I think we would have smacked him again right there for a lot of damage if he hadn't dropped spot, so we only get him with 1 there. So this game obviously shards, and we spawned in the middle. Pretty cautious at the beginning because there were several legendary ships to contend with, including the Shima with those 15 high-powered torpedoes, Yamatos with 18.81-inch guns, and the Conquerors with a 48% fire chance per shell. It's not exactly the place for a Bismarck to shine, but I will say we do lead our team to victory with some very passive, let's say intelligent, that's it, gameplay. So, like I was mentioning, when this ship first launched, it was almost a bit of a joke and was a huge frustration to play. So, from my understanding, ships are buffed and nerfed in this game based on their performance. If they're overperforming, like the Cleveland or the pre-nerf Shapiev with its 1000mm bow, please bring that back, by the way, that was fun, and the Luffen Task, then the ship gets the nerf hammer. And if they are underperforming, like, well, the Vanguard for the entire 2 years this game has been out, then they get a Trundle buff shot in the butt cheeks. So did Bismarck need the buff? Like I'm saying, it was probably underperforming on some of Wargaming's data sheets somewhere, and I guess I could see how. Out of the 10 games I played, 50% were with legendary tier ships that are considerably more powerful, but that's a topic for another video. Is the gap between legendary and tier 7 really that much worse between any other 2 tiers? Well, I'm not sure. But even against tier 7 battleships, Bismarck is, in my eyes, still outclassed by ships like Iowa Vlad and maybe even the Richelieu on some level. I think there are 3 reasons I think it looks like the Bismarck underperforms on paper, or does actually underperform. 1, first of all, I think she is way tougher to play than the Richelieu, Iowa, or Vladivostok. 2, I think it's a highly sought after ship by new, inexperienced players. And 3, German battleships are meant for brawling and only brawling, right? Well, let's get into these 3 points. So the first point, just by the placement of the turrets alone, the Iowa, Alabama, Massachusetts, Richelieu, Jean Bart, Vlad, etc., they're easy to play. Most of your ship's firepower is right on the front, making it very easy to sit bow in and take a relatively small amount of damage over the course of a match. This is kind of common sense. Whether you spawn on a flank or in the middle in one of these ships, sitting bow in and not having to flash your broadside will save you from taking an immense amount of damage. Bismarck, Vanguard, and a Moggy to a certain extent, they have not very much of their firepower up front. 4 15-inch guns for the Vanguard and the Bismarck, and if you're to remain bow in, it's really not enough firepower to do much of anything, even if they do have a faster reload than the ships with the big 406s or larger. A Bismarck needs to be positioned well to do good and either played moving forward so you can use the rudder to swing the rear guns out, or getting into a good flanking position where you can get great shots on broadside targets. Learning when to make these moves, or when to chance swinging your back guns out to shoot, and where to position, all take a bit more skill to get right. The second point, new players gravitate towards the Bismarck. Here's the thing, if I lined up all of the tech tree tier 7 battleships to a brand new squid player that had not played World of Warships before, or watched a YouTube video about warships, and I said they could have whichever battleship they want in the game for free right now, 7 out of 10 would probably pick the Bismarck, and maybe the other 3 the Iowa, but let's face it, the Bismarck is sexy. Historically, it's more idolized than Noah's Ark, and it probably ties with the Titanic. It even has a platinum hit song written about it. Probably got a copyright strike for that. Worth it. If you haven't heard the song, go check it out. It's really cool. So yeah, my point being, new players suck, just like me at Rainbow Six Siege. There's a big learning curve to playing this game, and if you rushed right into the Bismarck as your first tier 7, you really have a lot more learning you should have done, coupled with the fact that it's not the easiest ship to play, C point 1. This is one of the reasons I recommend new players play every line of ships and every class of ships up to lower levels like tier 4 or 5, and maybe just get 1 tier 5 premium to grind credits while you advance lines and learn. That way, when you get up to the vaunted Bismarck and you ready up, take her out of port for the first time, you don't prematurely cream your jeans and sail straight into B-cap on shards. So at this point in the match, if you've seen me frantically pinging, it's because I want this the Soviet destroyer on our team, the Khabarovsk, to come around here and get this Shimakaze off my butt. The reason I sailed over here, I'm not pulling out in front of the Yamato, and I couldn't stay around B-cap because the Shima would have annihilated me. So I have him on target acquisition here, and I'm just really hoping this Khabarovsk can help me kill him. If he would have sailed back over to B earlier, he could have killed the Shima, capped B, and then moved around and still got plenty of shots on the Yamato, Conqueror, and Edinburgh. But also, this was the 6th game in a row in Bismarck by this point, so my nerves were a little frayed. As you guys might have picked up on, I'm not like a big battleship player, but I did want to test this thing out just to show you guys. Okay, point 3. A lot of new players and a lot of players just think that German battleships can only be played as brawlers, and you must initiate brawling with the first red ship that pops up on the map. No exceptions. Go straight to that red ship. Without a doubt, the German battleships are brawlers. That's what they're best at. They have an armor scheme, turtleback armor, that's good up close. It's more effective up close. They have lots of secondary guns, and they have poor accuracy at long range. It's a no-brainer, right? Brawl it up. The issue starts when a player thinks that that's their only option, though, and that you immediately have to start closing with enemy ships to start brawling it out. Knowing when to close that distance and brawl, that's how you're good at brawling. You know when to do it, and most players don't get that. Being patient, waiting till the time is right, would be the main point to get across for ships like Odin, Tirpitz, and Bismarck. Usually this would be where you know where all the enemy ships are, where they're positioned, so you're not rushing into multiple ships, like pushing into an HE spamming Cleveland or Worcester, or heading right into an enemy destroyer. It takes some patience and some time to clear some of the playing field, and then when the time is right, you can move up and be more aggressive. So again, this could come down to learning a lot more about the game mechanics in general before playing this ship, C.2. So none of the above takes into account the fact that brawling is not really the meta in World of Warships either. It's sometimes hard to get the perfect situation to move up and fight in close quarters given super stealthy destroyers, high DPM cruisers, and the like. And even when you do, sometimes your time could have been spent more productive with the highly accurate Iowa raining 16-inch shells from afar. Now don't get me wrong, Bismarck is not a bad ship at all. It's an absolute tank, which could have been demonstrated by 3 of the 6 games I played today, 3 of them giving me dreadnoughts. It's a tank, and it's good at that. Speed, its secondaries, they're fun, and the fast reload. An experienced player can really put a hurting on the enemy team. So I guess this all begs the question, will Bismarck be buffed again in the future? All I can say is, for a German BB, this thing is shooting laser beams right now, and it's pretty damn fun. So have you ever watched a movie and all of a sudden the movie goes back to where it was 5 minutes ago and the main character had imagined everything? Man, I hate that. Well, everything I just said was 100% my speculation, and don't forget that. I don't know how sophisticated Wargaming's data collection is. For all I know, they could know every time someone named Terry buys the Bismarck and the win percentage of all Terrys in the world. My point was, regardless of how or why this ship was underperforming, I think the other tech tree battleships can be easier to play. Brawling isn't the meta, and the thought of sailing around a digital Bismarck just way too appealing for new players. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Does it need a buff, a nerf, or whatever you guys think? Leave a like if you're going to go test the Bismarck out and see for yourself. Be sure to subscribe for future content. Okay, see you next time.